Alright, you guys, welcome back to another match play. Today we are going to be taking game 2 of Arcanine versus Stage 1 Rush. I'm recording this a couple days after I recorded the first game, so I'm hoping I don't say the same things. If you're one of those people that watches the videos back to back and is like, yeah, you already said this stuff. I apologize because I don't remember what I said yesterday, so I don't remember what I said 2 days ago. That's a stretch for me. So we did discuss, however, I do remember discussing about the importance of the Vaporeon in the Stage 2 deck, or Stage 1 Rush deck. That does kind of swing the matchup in Arcanine's favor, or against Arcanine's favor. And I think I said the percentage was like 80-20 or something. And I think that's fairly accurate. This matchup, or this game, kind of shows how Arcanine can actually kind of take some prizes in the matchup. I know that this recording started a little bit late, but it did. I did have to mulligan, or I took my optional mulligan once, and it left me with kind of a suboptimal hand here. So that's why you see kind of a slower start on Stage 1 Rush's part. Not to spoil the first 3 turns, but then again, the first 2 turns are always never interesting. But you'll see in just a minute how Arcanine can kind of get off to a faster start. That will struggle against. That can struggle against Stage 1 Rush, or that. Oh boy. Arcanine getting off to a faster start for Stage 1 Rush to try to come back at. I think Stage 1 kind of just needs that EV down early, and maybe even a second EV down so that you can get that Vaporeon just always in play and always one-shotting every single Arcanine on their side of the field. So we see, if you don't know what Croagunk's attack is flip a coin. If heads, your opponent can't play any supporters from their hand. So I think that's actually kind of a cool little starter. If you can flip heads on it, you can really kind of annoy your opponent if they were banking on a supporter. So, but Grady did start a Spiritomb anyways, so it was not a big deal. And he opts to go for a Luxury Ball for the Porygon 2 before he goes into the Spiritomb. And I think that's so that if I flip heads on Croagunk again, he at least has a download to play. So I'm going to go with Collector here, and I actually don't opt for Spiritomb, I don't opt for Dunsparce, or anything like that. I'm just saying, you know what, you're into Spiritomb, I'm going to try something weird here. I'm going to try just going for, just letting you set up with Spiritomb, and I'll just play retroactively. And I think that's kind of the right decision here, because Spiritomb, yeah, is going to set up this Arcanine, it's going to set up his board, but really all I need to really start dealing damage is just a Stage 1 attacker, and I'll one-shot everything on his side of the field. So I think this is the right line of play in this matchup. I think in some other matchups you'd want to see the Spiritomb out from that Collector to just start setting up your Claydol, your Porygon 2, that sort of thing. The attachment to the Mewtwo is to threaten the Spiritomb here, because I'm going to be able to retreat, smack it for 40, and now he can't use Spiritomb anymore. I mean, unlike he was anyways, because the only thing he can go into is the break. So, but it does prevent him from using it in future turns. It puts 50 damage on it. If he keeps it in the active, I'll hurt it. He doesn't have a lot of energy on the board, so it's going to be very unlikely that he can get, unless he has the Arcanine break ready to go, and all that fun stuff. So the EV comes down there. Like I said, I want 2 EVs down for the Vaporeon. And I also kind of liked it here for the Leafeon. It was just kind of an option if he decides to Gust or Lysander the Toxicroak and take that. I could have responded with a Leafeon here. So that's one reason I decided to go there. But Swoop Teleporter onto the Dunsparce here. He decides to keep the 50 damage away from the Growlithe. He doesn't want the 50 damage on the Growlithe. That's why he swooped the Dunsparce. And plus the Dunsparce had energy on it anyways for the Growlithe. Grady's really looking for some sort of switch, I bet you now, so he can switch into the Arcanine break and move the energies with the Burning Road ability on the Evolution's Arcanine. So there's the energy down. He just needs a switch or some way to get out of the active. And an N is going to be the thing of choice, which actually kind of bails me out a little bit. I was not looking at a great hand. I really just need the Claydol or the Porygon. But Grady does want to knock out this Mewtwo, or at least put 80 damage and start accelerating. If he can get a Guzma, I think that's the one play he was looking for the most. Guzma onto the Claydol or the Porygon, because he can't one-shot the Vaporeon without a Muscle Band. So, but Copycat will be the supporter of choice. So he can't grab Guzma, so now he's looking for a Gust of Wind and a switch if he wants to get that play off. At the very least, he wants a... well, now he actually can't switch because he uses the Super Energy removal. So so now it's just going to be, hey, look, I'm going to just attach and call it, or just pass. Sorry, he already attached to the Arcanine. So with the Super Energy removal, it still buys him a turn anyways. But this is not a lot of great stuff in my hand here, so... Secret Mission's going to discard a lot, actually. I think I discard like 4 or 5 cards. Let's see, 3. This guy at 4. Maybe 1 more. The Floatstone I'm going to keep, last time I'm going to keep, so yeah, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, because I want to play... What I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to play Floatstone, and get some sort of energy, or some sort of evolution, and take the Arcanine. The Sky Field is so if I get the Clefable combo, I can go Clefairy, Clefable, and hopefully just like just take the knockout on the break and just set him way back. But that's the decision I have to make here. The Secret Mission into the Misties is awesome, and you can see I'm going to Misties into the Claydol at the very least. So there's the Claydol. We're going to see the Flowstone come down on the Mewtwo. Junk Arm's probably going to be for the Misty's Wrath. Yep, it will be for the Misty's Wrath. Let's see if it's going to play it. Yep, right away. There's a Bill. If I can get a Bill and a Mallow off that, or even like a Level Ball for the Lapras, which I saw a little bit earlier. So I do take the Bill, and let's see. I'm just going to Bill right away. It's going to say, hey, look, we're just not going to do this. But here's a Lux Ball, presumably for a Clefairy or Clefable. Yep, there's the Clefairy. We're going to go ahead and use that Moonstone, most likely to evolve into it, because I saved the Lysander, so I'm really looking for that big play onto the Arcanine. There's the energy. Still have a chance to Claydol, still have a chance to play a supporter. So we're looking pretty okay here. I just really want to take this Arcanine to accelerate some energies and put Grady in a very, very poor positioning spot. Yep, we're going to go ahead and take it first. Do it before the Claydol. Put a Scoop Up just to use the cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there is the Evo Soda onto the Moonstone. And we were talking about the fact of can you Evo Soda this or can you not Evo Soda this, like based off a ruling. I think we decided not to, but I go for Porygon 2 instead just to be safe. Because you can't Evo Soda with Broken Time Space and play. We've messed up on that ruling before, so we didn't want to mess up with the Clefairy Clefable thing. But either way, it worked. Like we're gonna get it anyways. I'm gonna play a Colress here for 3, 6, 9, 11. Just hoping to hit some form of Pokemon search, or just into the there's a computer search, and then there's the Ultra Ball. So definitely hit it there. It's gonna be really unlikely that I didn't hit it off of the Colress. So we get this Clefable going. We're going to accelerate 2 energies, probably either to the Mewtwo or to the Toxicroak. Oh, nope, we're actually going to go for the Combee, which I could have used Honey. I think I used Honey on his turn. I say, hey, look, actually, can I use Honey? And he'll say yes. Yep, there it is. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to use Honey for the, what is that, an Unknown. I'm going to use Honey for the Unknown, DC, a double fighting onto the Combee, so I can go into Vespiquen next turn. Got an Eevee there, ready to go if he wants to take the Vaporeon knockout. This board is so set up, and you can see how just dominating Stage 1 is into the Arcanine matchup. Purely because of Vaporeon, pretty much just alone. Without Vaporeon, I would have needed a Muscle Band to get the knockout, and I would have had to use Scorching Breath with Clefable. That play still would have been viable, but I wouldn't have had the acceleration onto the Combee, and without the acceleration onto the Combee, I would have had to dig for DCE, and things fall from there. But Grady does get the return KO with the Blacksmith onto the Victini, so return KO is good there. I'm going to be looking for that, probably a Vespiquen. Toxicroak would do just fine as well, taking an energy there. I could go into I could go into Leafeon even, and that's a knockout because he's got 3 energies doubled from water. So I have a lot of options here, and that computer search is just going to open up way more options as well. So we're going to see what we're going to grab here. Computer search is going to discard the Vibrava line, even though it will be useful in this matchup. I just don't have the bench space for it. I really don't need it at this point. So we're going to be computer search for Dowsing Machine. What do we need to grab here? I think we're going to just trump card, it looks like. For Versus Seeker for trump card, yeah, that's what it's going to be. So, computer search for Dowsing Machine for trump card, and then here's a Mallow as the second supporter, and I think that's kind of I think that's a good way to go about it, because I'm not going to go into Vespiquen this turn, but what I'm trying to do is I had a really big hand, so that lowered the hand size enough for me to Claydol with, or Mallow into the Claydol into the Mallow, whichever way. So I think that's fine. I mean, I have nothing but attackers on the board ready to go. I think I'm going to start trying to take the knockout onto the Arcanine on the bench, perhaps. That might be my line of play here. I could also just be saying, look, I'm going to knock out this Victini, get an energy removal as well, or even a field blower so you can't experience share. But I think I did prize my field blower. I think that's what I checked within my prizes, because I would have grabbed it. There's the farewell letter. Gonna shrink this bench up a little bit. Retreat into the Toxic Oak, which will be the option of knockout. Goop Gas attack, energy removal. Yep, so it will be that. He gets the EXP share, but the energy removal means that he has to get the Blacksmith as well. The Goop Gas attack works here because I can shut off the Vaporeon, still get a knockout with a 90 damage from Revenge. So I don't really need the water typing to knock out Victini. So Grady here, he's gooped. He's got a fat bench. He's going to need an extra energy onto this Arcanine. If I had Field Blower, I was going to be able to just really devastate him. But he still has an energy, so he can go into this Spiritomb off of the Goop. So I'm going to be item locked, especially into the Vaporeon here. Hopefully he can buy a turn or two. This is probably going to bounce the Mewtwo. Yep, Mewtwo's super useless at this point. It was good for putting that pressure on him, and he can't Darkness Grace because it will knock him out. So there's the attachment. Let's hope that I have an AZ or a Guzma. That's what I'm going to need here to get out of the active. Yep, and we just have the Guzma ready to go, just like he did in Game 1 where he had the Guzma. I'm going to go into the Eevee so I can retreat and have these kind of options of what I want to get. I can go into Flareon if I want to, or I could retreat into the Vespiquen, or I could even, I could go Leafeon. So retreat into that. We're going to swoop the Eevee off of the board for... I'm just kind of curious. I forgot what I was going to get. Oh, an unknown. I think we're looking at maybe bench something. Like I'm trying to free up a bench space. That could be it. So unknown draws a card. Oh, we could be looking for that Clefable combo again. Although I think I already attached, right? So I guess we're looking for just... the swoop is just to get the extra Pokemon in the discard pile. So you swoop the Eevee off to get in the discard pile for the unknown, to get that into the discard pile to help the Vespiquen's damage. That's what that's all about. So there's me counting the number of Pokemon on my field. I'm going to Battle Compressor. This is going to get me it. I'm going to Battle Compressor the Level Ball, which you might be like, oh, that's weird. But I probably have an Item Finder, Junk Arm, that sort of thing in my hand. Yep, and there's the Junk Arm, discarding more Pokemon. And that's definitely going to be for the Level Ball, for the Vespiquen, for the knockout here. What I can do with the rest of this turn, at this point, is kind of moot. The experience share there is just to kind of get it out of my hand. Really not going to need it much this game. I would have liked to attach that to some other basic Pokemon. Grady here going to be looking for a Muscle Band or an Iris or something like that to try to get a knockout onto the Vespiquen with the Fire weakness, if he can trade it back into it, and accelerate to the Growlithe. He doesn't have any Arcanines going right now, so he needs that. But we'll see what he can grab. It's going to be a Claydol now that he has abilities again. There's a Teammates. I think this is where he looks for Iris and finds out that the Arcanine list is not updated, and we do not play the Iris just quite yet. I think nowadays it needs to be, but remember, we built these decks 3 months ago before we knew much about the format. I think that Iris is needed in every deck that does damage. If you're wondering what I'm doing, we found out that the Skyfield accidentally got bumped into his deck instead of mine. So I just got the card in there, and we were like, oh, that's totally supposed to be in here. But no Iris. So what he can do now is he can go for some sort of Blacksmith combo. He can Iris for the, or he can Teammates for the Blacksmith. That's one thing he can do. He can do that plus the Goop, which will actually probably save him a little bit, considering that my next attacker is Toxic Hook. I kind of stretched myself a little thin. Yeah, I had all these attackers early game, but I don't know if it's actually going to be a max. Looks like maybe he already had it in hand. So, because he needs an energy onto that Arcanine, because if I get the return KO, it's kind of over. So maybe he doesn't have a goop. Maybe I prized it. Maybe he doesn't play it. There's a Scorched Earth instead of the BTS that helps him out, but there is the goop actually. So we're gonna push that Toxicroak up. I'm not gonna be able to knock out the Volcanion unless unless I get some other Pokemon out. So the one thing I could do is just try to get. I have a Teammates in my hand there, but it's the only support I'm going to be able to play. My Gust is still live, so I could take a knockout onto the Porygon or to the Claydol. And I think that might be my line of play here, just because he's going to have to Hex again if he wants to keep the Volcanion alive. But at that point, I'm going to be ready with a Flareon. So I think these two cards will probably go for Flareon and Gust of Wind. Oh, no, actually, we got way wrong on that. We're going to go for the Clefable for next turn. We're not even going to take the Gust. The Gust might be already used. I thought I used Goop and Energy Removal. So, yeah. Could be going for here, the Clefairy, so I can accelerate energies. It could be a lot of other things. We shall see what the plan is here. At least one of those was the Oak. But we'll see, and no, it's just going to be a 90 damage rate back off of him. So I didn't get a. I could have gotten a Gust of Wind with the thing, with the Teammates, but I am far enough ahead in the prize trade in a 1-for-1 prize matchup that this is kind of okay, considering that I have the EV down, like the Fairy down. But I would have liked to see me go for a Gust of Wind. I want to support Pokemon there, followed up by a next turn, like if he misses Hex. I'd be able to one-shot the Volcanion, so I think that's what I would like to see as a better play. But oh well, hindsight's 20/20. 90 damage here isn't bad, and you'll find out later, like, it actually is kind of good. So the thing that it does set me up for is 90 damage puts him at 40 HP, so that Clefable can come up and use Heatmor or Volcanion's first attack, the one that does 20 and accelerates energies. And that's going to be useful, so I can accelerate some energies down and take a knockout with Clefable. Go ahead and accelerate that to the EV and whatnot. So Evosoda will come down, so he can grab another Arcanine. Greedy's kind of getting ready to go here. He's going to switch into the Burning Road one and move some of the energies up. And he's going to just obliterate this Toxicroak, but I mean, it sets him up. It sets me up for where I can even go into Leafeon and knock him out here. That's enough damage with the Leafeon. So, and I can save the Clefable for the big one-shot is kind of just what I'm trying to save it for. Clefable is just, it's a really, really good card just to like sit on your bench and say, come at me. I really enjoy just, especially with the Moonstone, you can just get it out whenever. As long as you have 2 searching cards, you can just, if you watch the video we did yesterday on banned list cards, Clefable, you can just kind of start teching into decks and doing cool things. But he's going to get this Hex back, so the Hex means that I am going to need to get the Clefable to knock him out, strictly because he reminded me that I Hexed. I think that's what it is. So Computer's just going to grab the Flareon now, saying, look, I can also go this next turn. I'm going to Mario's request for it. Yep, I'm just going to try to Oak into an energy. That's all we need to get is an energy. There's a catcher too, but there is an energy, so we will be able to use Scorching Breath for the knockout onto his big boy. And Grady will then follow it up with the knockout with, most likely with the other Arcanine. If he can get an Arcanine break, that's probably the best thing he's looking at doing. But the attachment of the energy says that that's actually not what he's looking at doing. So, but we shall see what happens here. He is at least going to take a knockout on something. This is the prime position for him to take a knockout onto the Vaporeon if he can. But at this point, like, taking a knockout on the Vaporeon is almost just not useful enough, because he'll take one prize from it, and the Clefable can one-shot him anyways, and the Flareon can one-shot him anyways. So, but with a break, now it's one of those things where like, oh yeah, maybe I can, but it will reset the Clefable. So, gosh, this matchup is just so unfavorable. Palpad's in. He's looking to grab that Hex again, but the Lapras is already down, so it's going to be kind of tricky for him to do so. Interesting to see what Grady will choose to do here. Oh gosh, yeah. The more and more I think about this matchup, the more and more I'm just like, wow, this is like super, super unfavorable. There's the Uxie digging for that Hex. Digging for the Hex. There's a Junk Arm. He's got a Junk Arm. He's item findered. That looks like to be for a Misty's Wrath, I suppose. He might have something in his hand he doesn't want to get rid of. That's why he doesn't Oak. Yeah. So there's something he doesn't want to Oak for. Doesn't want to discard Oak in his hand. He just wants the Misties. But nope, he decides no, we're just gonna Oak, and goes away with it or something. I don't know what he was doing there, but that's the problem with it not being narrated by the actual people. I don't know what he's saying to me, and we don't do a good enough job of like taking the card out and whatnot. So there's a Rosie's research. It appears that he missed it. I think he showed me, yeah, he shows me, look, I got an Oak, a Scoop Up, a Computer Search, a Hex, the Versus Seeker. I had all these outs to get it, and I missed it. And I'm telling him, like, look, dude, I had all these Pokemon on the discard pile. It really didn't matter anyways if you hit the Hex or not, just because I was going to get the Computer Search. So there's all of these guys. We're going to try to dig for just a backup attack with a Abominable that hasn't been seen at all this game, but is going to be able to knock it on something. This should just be, not all three, I have the Sycamore in hand. We're just digging for a DCE or some way. There's the Boost Energy, which will be the final energy there. Saving the bill in case I get end, but I do need to dig through my deck a little bit. I just kind of want to get rid of some stuff. That's going to be for 3 energies, I do believe, just to increase the chances of me drawing into the Crabominable energy to finish the game off. And we'll be taking 2 prizes here because of the Arcanine. So here's a Super Rod. Probably just going to be a Claydol now. And a look for Boost. I am not going to play the Skyfield, actually. Reason being is because I can use Scorched Earth on my last turn, but it'll be a Lapras for a Hex here. To just kind of hopefully just steal the game for me next turn. I have enough Pokemon in there already. I don't need to worry about having Vaporeon. So, drawing 2 prizes because of the EX on Arcanine, going down to 1 prize. He's Hexed. And actually, I don't get burned here. He's like, you're burned. And I was like, cool, but that Hex should have shut off that. So that 20 damage shouldn't have been there. I'm realizing that now, but that's A-okay. Because I have pretty much everything set up anyways. So, not a lot Grady can do. I can pretty much just one-shot everything on the field. I just need a DCE to do it. That's all. So we'll see where Grady's thing is. This, like I said, this matchup is just, it's super unfavorable because of that Vaporeon take all those early game prizes. And then late game, it just didn't matter because Clefable could take 1-shots under Hexlock. I hexed and knocked out something with Flareon. It's just super unfavorable. So, not a lot Grady's going to be able to do here. I think he's going to retreat and just take a knockout and hope I miss energy. Let's see. He bounces that. I'm like, no! Like, I could have used that. He still would like to Hex here if he could. But, like, it still doesn't matter because I just need the energy Crabominable. And I actually come up and have DCE Muscle Band in hand for game. I had Crabominable energy that I top decked, so I could have done that, but using Porygon was just way too cool anyways. So, Grady's saying if I had hit a Hex or something, would I have been able to, or... I was like, I had a lot of outs to it. So anyways, Stage 1 Rush takes the game, takes the round, and it moves into the finals of the U150 tournament. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next video.